Hello viewers, this is your SSK and today we have an interesting story from Chandamama and the name of the story is Water, Water Everywhere. But Hari had only a momentary glimpse but it left him enthralled. It was a double high for him. This was his first aeroplane ride and his destination was Port Blair, the capital town of famed Andaman Islands in the Bay of Bengal. The captain of their flight had just announced that they were nearing Port Blair and islands were now visible below them. Harry strained his neck to look down, and the sight took his breath away. Deep blue waters of the oceans leading into the light, emerald greens of shallow coastal waters, strips of white sparkling beaches, and then the thick forest that the Andamans are so famous for. Harry had not seen such lush green forests before. What a beauty! He exclaimed to himself. What greenery, Daddy! He turned to his father, who was also straightening his neck over Harry's little head to get whatever view he could. This place must be so pleasant and cool, Harry said, and I'm sure there are no problems here like we have back home in Chennai. His father merely nodded his head. He was himself so captivated with the blues and greens below that he hardly heard what Harry was saying. Getting to those faraway islands was a dream come true for Harry. They were going there as a tourist but with a little difference. Their destination was the Institute for Island Ecology, where scientists had been studying the rich ecological wealth of the islands for about a decade. In the next few minutes, the plane landed and soon they drove Hotel Blue Islands where their accommodation had been arranged. Harry was keen on bath as he had not taken one at home in Chennai. The departure time of their flight was 5:30 a.m. A bath was simply not possible, though that was the only time in the day where their taps had water. Water did not appear to be a problem in the forest-rich land. A nice warm bath was followed by a good breakfast and the father-son duo were ready to leave for the IIE campus located from 20 kilometers from Port Blair. They were soon in the outskirts and the first thing that Harry noticed was that everything was not as green as he saw from above. There were large brown patches, a number of small hillocks were all barren and there were many fields along the roadside lying fallow. Immediately something else also caught his eye. In 5 places at least he saw long queues of pots and large blue drums starting from under a small tap along the road. No people at the taps, only pots and drums waiting for water. He had to ask and the answer came from the diver Muthu. Water in these taps only for 30 minutes late in the afternoon, sir, he said. We have a serious water problem in and around Port Blair. Water problem in an island with tropical rainforest? Harry refused to believe it. But there was no problem in our hotel, he protested. I had a good long bath there. Muthu's response hit Harry's heart. This is one of the main problems, sir. The tourists are getting priority. A large part of Port Blair's limited water supply gets diverted to the hotels and the citizens were badly affected. During March to May, we have been water in our taps for only 1 hour every 3 days. Harry could not believe his ears. Once in 3 days, he exclaimed. It's better than this even in Chennai, and this is supposed to be a tropical island system with heavy rainfall. Muthu nodded his head. We do not have a lot of rain, he responded, but the period from November to May is rather dry. This is also the tourist season and the pressure increases with every passing year. Harry felt silent for a while. He was upset with himself. I spent 10 minutes in shower today, he confessed to his father, and people here don't have water to drink. Why is it so? His father was himself a little clueless and taken by surprise at what Muthu had just told them. Maybe, he told Harry, someone at IIE might have the answer. Just then Muthu brought the car to the abrupt halt. Reached the beautiful wooded campus of the IIE and Harry was all in and worked up to get some answers about water in these islands. It was the first question he put to John, a senior scientist at IIE. When they sat down to chat, our driver Muthu told us there is a serious water problem in Port Blair because of tourists. He asked, "Is that true?" John replied in deep voice and slow tone, "There is a water problem leverage here and the tourism industry has only made it worse. For many decades now," he added. There has been large scale tree felling for the timber industry and his bad affect the island in a very negative way. That was exactly the thought which had crossed Harry's mind when he saw the barren hillocks earlier in the morning. He made a quick calculation. "That's an increase of nearly 800% in just 4 decades," he exclaimed. "You're right," said John, "and while people and their demands have increased, Mother Nature cannot necessarily keep up the supply. Things become rather simple and straightforward for Harry now. "We shouldn't have come to this beautiful place, Daddy," he said with remorse in his voice. "We are making things only worse and more difficult for the local people and the islands." "That's not a solution," John said emphatically, almost if he was scolding Harry. "We in fact need more sensitive young people like you who are able to identify the problem. There are a number of solutions, beginning with careful use of water. If more tourists were careful and minimized the use of water and other resources, the first step in the right direction will have been taken." Harry was still not feeling great, but what John told him made him feel much better. "From now on, my bath will be restricted to 1 bucket of water," he said. "No more showers for me, not in Port Blair and not in Chennai." "Come, let me show you around the campus," said John, trying to cheer up Harry. "And tomorrow, when we go to Ruthal Island, you will see many wonderful aspects of this unique island." A smile returned to Harry's face, and there was a spring in his step as they started their walk around the campus.